My name is Layla, and I opened Lighthouse Café in Rosewood in 1989 when I was 26. Back in 1997, I started noticing these three boys hanging around the dumpsters behind my cafe. They couldn't have been more than 12 or 13. I went out one evening and found them picking through trash bags. "You boys hungry?" The tallest one, this skinny kid with a scar above his eyebrow, stepped forward. "We're not begging." "Good, because I'm not offering charity. I'm offering work. You help me take out trash, sweep the back lot, I'll feed you. Deal?" They came every day for 2 years. Kenzo, Tahir, and Naveen. I never asked where they came from. They worked, I fed them, and when they stopped coming in 1999, I hoped it meant they'd found something better. I took in my nephew Marcus after my sister Diane died in 2003. He was 20 then, angry at the world, no direction. I gave him a job washing dishes, taught him the business, made him assistant manager by 2008. When I added his name to the ownership papers in 2012, my best friend Brenda warned me. "Layla, you barely know him anymore. He's different." "He's family. Diane would have wanted this." "Diane's been gone 9 years. You don't owe him this." "I owe her. She asked me to take care of him if anything happened." "Taking care of him doesn't mean giving him half your business." But I didn't listen. By 2018, I was 65 and tired. The cafe had been my whole life, but lately, nothing made sense. We were busier than ever, but money kept disappearing. I'd check the books and find discrepancies I couldn't explain. One Tuesday morning, Marcus walked into my office without knocking. He was 35 now, wearing expensive suits I never understood how he afforded. "We need to talk about the Henderson account." "What about it?" "You paid them twice last month. Again." He dropped a folder on my desk. "That's $12,000, Layla." I opened the folder. The duplicate payments were highlighted in yellow. My signature was on both checks. "I don't remember signing these twice." "You've been forgetting a lot lately." He sat down, his voice softening in that way that always made my skin crawl. "Last week you told Rosa to order supplies we already had. The week before, you locked up with the stove still on." "I did not." "Rosa saw it. Brenda was here. They're worried about you." My hands shook. I had been tired, yes. Forgetting small things, maybe, but this? "I think it's time we discuss transitioning some responsibilities," Marcus said. "Dr. Pembroke said you need to reduce stress." "I haven't seen Dr. Pembroke in 6 months." "Aunt Layla." He leaned forward, and I saw something in his eyes I'd never noticed before. Something cold. "I'm trying to protect you, and this business you built. But if you can't see that, maybe we need to have a different conversation." "What conversation?" "The one where I explained to the bank that you're no longer mentally competent to manage a business with this much liability." That afternoon, Rosa knocked on my office door. She'd worked at Lighthouse for 15 years, since she was 19. I'd helped her through a divorce, watched her daughter grow up. "Layla, can we talk?" "Of course, come in." She closed the door but didn't sit. "I need to tell you something, but I'm scared." "Scared of what?" "Marcus came to me last month. He said if I ever mentioned seeing him in your office late at night, he'd make sure I never worked in this town again." She was crying now. "I saw him, Layla, multiple times, going through your files, your computer. I thought he was helping you, but then I heard him on the phone talking about the old woman and how much longer until—" The door opened. Marcus stood there with Brenda behind him. "Rosa, take your break," Marcus said quietly. "I'm talking to Layla." "Now." Rosa looked at me, then left. I stood up. "What's going on, Marcus?" Brenda stepped forward. "Honey, Marcus called me because he's concerned. We all are. Concerned about what? Your behavior, Marcus said. He pulled out more papers. These are letters from the IRS. You haven't been paying quarterly taxes for 2 years. That's $78,000 in back taxes and penalties. That's impossible. I pay every… You think you do, but look. He spread the documents across my desk. Official IRS letterhead, my cafe's tax ID number, notices of unpaid liabilities dating back to 2016. I don't understand. Early dementia often manifests as financial confusion first, Brenda said gently. My mother went through this. I don't have dementia. Then explain this. Marcus pulled out a bank statement. You withdrew $40,000 in cash over 6 months. What did you spend it on? I stared at the withdrawals. Large amounts, always in cash, always with my signature. But I never made those withdrawals. I never signed those forms. I think someone's stealing from me. Layla. Brenda took my hand. Listen to yourself. You're paranoid. You're forgetting things. You're making wild accusations. Marcus has been going through my files at night. I've been trying to fix your mistakes at night, Marcus said. Because during the day you yell at me for trying to help. I looked at Brenda, my best friend of 30 years. She wouldn't meet my eyes. I've already spoken to a lawyer, Marcus continued. Given your condition and the financial liability you're creating, we can transition ownership smoothly, or this gets ugly. IRS liens, foreclosure, public embarrassment. You'd lose everything Diane and I worked to build. Diane didn't build this. I did, alone. And you're going to destroy it alone too, unless you let me save it. He put new papers in front of me. This transfers majority ownership to me and establishes you as a paid consultant. You keep your salary, your dignity, and the cafe survives. Or, I let the IRS take it, and you lose everything anyway. How much time do I have to think about it? The IRS deadline is Friday. That's 3 days. After that, they seize assets. Don't do this. I'm protecting our family legacy. Sign. I looked at Brenda. She nodded. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely hold the pen, but I signed. 3 days later, Rosa gave me copies of the real bank statements she'd secretly kept. Marcus had been forging my signature for 3 years. The IRS letters were fabricated. The tax payments had been made, but Marcus had redirected them into an account in his name. But by then, legally, I owned nothing. I was sitting in the cafe at midnight 2 weeks later, my last night before Marcus changed the locks, when someone knocked on the door. 3 men stood outside, tall, confident, in their 30s. It took me a moment to recognize the scar above the tallest one's eyebrow. Kenzo? Hi, Ms. Layla. I opened the door. Tahir and Naveen stood beside him, grown men now, but with those same careful eyes I remembered. How did you know I was here? Old customers, Tahir said. They're talking about what's happening. Your nephew kicking you out of your own place. It's not my place anymore, legally. I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. Can we come in? I made coffee while they sat at the counter like they had 20 years ago, except now they filled the space differently. I'm a forensic accountant, Kenzo said. Tahir's a civil attorney. Naveen works in fraud investigation for the state. I laughed, but it came out like a sob. Of course you are. We've been following your cafe for years, Naveen said. We always meant to come back, thank you properly. When we heard what was happening, we started looking into it. There's nothing to look into. I signed the papers. Under duress and fraudulent pretenses, Tahir said. But that's hard to prove without evidence of the original manipulation. I don't have evidence. Marcus destroyed it all. He didn't destroy Rosa's copies. or the testimony of 6 other employees who saw him working late in your office, or the bank security footage we subpoenaed yesterday, showing him making those cash withdrawals himself. Kenzo opened his laptop. He got sloppy in the last year, arrogant. He stopped covering his tracks because he thought he'd already won. Why are you doing this? Because you fed us, Naveen said simply. Because you didn't ask questions or make us feel like charity cases. Because you treated us like we mattered when no one else did. I can't pay you. We're not asking for payment. Tahir pulled out more documents. These are the real tax records, the real bank statements, and a forensic audit of every transaction Marcus made using your information. We're filing criminal charges tomorrow. Fraud, forgery, elder exploitation, theft. Brenda knew. She helped him. Accessory charges for her too. Kenzo's voice was cold. Anyone who helped him. How long will this take? Months, maybe a year. He'll fight it. I don't know if I can handle that. You won't be alone, Naveen said. We'll be there every step. The trial lasted 8 months. I sat in that courtroom every single day while Tahir presented the evidence. Ms. Layla, when did you first notice financial discrepancies? Tahir asked me on the stand. In 2018, money was disappearing, but Marcus kept telling me I was confused. Did he ever threaten you? He said if I didn't sign the papers, he'd let the IRS take everything, that I'd lose my cafe and my dignity. Marcus's lawyer stood up. Mrs. Layla, isn't it true you've been experiencing memory problems? I've been tired. I never had memory problems until Marcus started gaslighting me. Isn't it possible you simply forgot making those withdrawals? The bank footage shows Marcus wearing my glasses and a wig. Did I forget I was him too? Rosa testified next. I saw him in her office after midnight, going through her files. When I mentioned it, he said, if you tell her, you'll never work in this town again. I'll make sure of it. Did you believe him? Tahir asked. Yes. He's been running that cafe for years. Everyone knows him. I was scared. One of the other servers testified. I heard him on the phone in the storage room. He said, the old woman's almost done. Another month, and it's all mine. When Brenda took the stand, she fell apart. Mrs. Brenda, did you know the IRS letters were fake? The prosecutor asked. Marcus showed them to me. They looked real. But you helped convince Layla to sign the ownership papers, didn't you? He said she needed help, that she was confused. What did Marcus promise you in exchange for your help? She started crying. A management position, and he knew things about my divorce, assets I hid from my ex-husband. He said if I didn't help him, he'd tell. The forensic evidence was damning. Kenzo walked the jury through every forged signature, every redirected tax payment, every fake document. Over $200,000 stolen across 3 years. The jury came back in 3 hours, guilty on all counts. At sentencing, the judge looked at Marcus. Mr. Marcus, do you have anything to say? Your Honor, I love my aunt. I was trying to protect the business. She was making mistakes. You forged her signature 47 times, the judge said. You fabricated federal documents. You threatened employees. You systematically stole from an elderly woman who took you in when you had nothing. 7 years. Brenda got 2 years. The judge ordered full restitution. Outside the courthouse, Marcus's wife approached me. Are you happy now? You destroyed our family. I didn't destroy anything. Marcus did. He made a mistake. He's sorry. He's sorry he got caught. She walked away without another word. She filed for divorce the next week. I sold the cafe to Kenzo, Tahir, and Naveen. They kept Rosa as manager, kept the name, kept everything I'd built. 6 months later, I was buying groceries when Marcus's daughter found me in the cereal aisle. She was 17, crying. Ms. Layla, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what he did. Sweetie, you didn't do anything wrong. He's my father. I should have known. You were a child. This isn't on you. Will you ever forgive him? He keeps writing letters saying he's changed. No. But he's my dad. Doesn't that matter? It matters to you. It doesn't change what he did to me. Last month I got his letter, 8 pages of apologies. I burned it without reading past the first paragraph. Then Brenda's daughter wrote asking me to testify at her parole hearing. She said her mother deserved forgiveness, that everyone makes mistakes, that I should understand mercy. I was at Lighthouse when I read it. Kenzo was teaching his nephew my baklava recipe. Tahir's daughter was doing homework. Naveen was interviewing a young woman fresh out of foster care. I tore up the letter. If someone helped destroy everything you built, but years later their child asked you to forgive them so they could get out of prison early, would you do it? Or would you let them serve every day they were sentenced to?